Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. As challenges continues to get underway in the Americas, the Sentinels Academy continues to dominate their matches so far. Dapr, former Sentinels player, is now coaching that roster and so far has been undefeated in his matchup so far. Will that continue? If this does continue and Dapr continues to be an excellent coach, what does that mean? Could Tampa get promoted to the main roster? Or what about the players on that Qubit Academy? Because there is some serious talent there, and if Sentinels do not deliver what they want to going into Bangkok, maybe there is another option on the table. Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Starting with the following. This is the Masters Bangkok Trophy. We shall see which teams will qualify to get a chance for it over just the next couple of days. We know that it's Trace Esports. We know that it's Edward Gaming from China. That situation was decided a long time ago. There are 4 teams remaining in all the other 3 regions to see which 2 of those teams will get through to fight for this trophy. So, okay, it's not the actual trophy, but it's the first kind of look and the first rendition that we have of the trophy. Obviously, Boaster was saying, well, looks nice, but unfortunately, Fasting are not going to get a chance to actually try and win it. I think that maybe Durka was in the replies as well, saying, yeah, wow. So, Vitality, they've not qualified yet, but having now seen what the trophy is going to be looking like, I don't know, obviously the teams want to make it there for the, it's not about the trophy, it's about the victory at the end of the day, and it's about the glory associated with winning the event, but the trophy's nice. So, yeah, Durka and Vitality will want to qualify, and they are in a very good position to do exactly that. They're, of course, in the winner's side. Bit of drama as well on the replay system, and it does seem like in the game files in patch 10.02, we have replay buttons in the game. So the icons associated with what could be a replay system, so, you know, pause, fast forward or to the next rounds, replay settings, skip back 5 seconds, skip forward, they're now in the game. So the icons that you will click on when you use the replay mode, they are now in the game. Does that mean that the replay system's arriving very soon? You know, it probably means something like that. What soon is another big question. I thought this is pretty interesting as well from this guy today, Flat8032, and he hit the Reddit yesterday discussing how he used to work at Riot, not on Valorant, but his understanding is, and this, you know, makes perfect sense to be honest, and I think we all kind of know this is true, that the replay system could have been made a very long time ago. It's just not been a priority. So what he says is that I've worked in big tech several times and worked at Riot for a few years before leaving last year to join Meta. A common narrative I see is that these developers are incompetent when it comes to making the replay system happen. That isn't true. The issue is that Riot's management doesn't allocate significant resources to the replay system, and this should be obvious. And at the end of the day, the replay system, while it might be nice, it doesn't generate money for Valorant as, let's say, working on the console version of the game does, or working on some new skins to the game, or whatever the thing is. So, you know, the bottom line is, as far as this guy's concerned, is that the guys working on the replay system are doing a good job. There's just not the allocation of resources to make it happen very quickly. It may be happening now, it may happen eventually, but he says, I distinctly asked someone on the Valorant team why the replay system was taking so long, and he said, at the time, many of the engineers were focused on getting the console version rolled out. While there are separate teams for different features, engineers are sometimes moved around, and budget is allocated based on priorities. So this shouldn't really be a massive surprise, but as far as he's concerned, this is not a competence issue, this is a management and stakeholder issue, and it makes sense. And to be honest, if you look at esports in general, certainly Valorant esports and Riot Games esports, often this is true. If there's something wrong, it's often not necessarily incompetent, it's more so where the management is deciding the resources will go. That's probably why it's taken so long to get the replay system. Maybe it is arriving eventually. Let's talk those Sentinels and what they may do. This is their current roster. They will play G2 in a couple of days. They beat 100T, they beat Louds to get to this point, and Zekken, JonQT, Bang, Zellsis, and Narrate. That is the team of 5 that will try and qualify for Masters Bangkok. They would be favourites to do so through the lower side, but G2 will be favourites for this particular series, and if Sentinels do lose to G2, then of course they've got a big matchup on their hands in the lower side, potentially against Aspas. We'll see how MIBR get on down there, and Crew Esports, of course, are still alive as well. But that's the other things happening. We also, though, have the Challenger side, because Sentinels have decided to invest in a Challengers Academy program for this season, the Qubit Academy, as it is known. Basically, Sentinels Sentinels Academy roster. Now, speaking of challenges, SRG, so the SR Golds team, we've discussed them a lot over the last couple of days, they are having an assistant coach opportunity. And again, we saw this yesterday. People are throwing around these assistant coaching forms, and well, FE says, please refrain from submitting 250 pages of anti-strat. Thank you very much. So if you're going to apply, keep it concise, keep it simple. And these are the things that they actually want here, right? So submit the following: anti-strat for Sentinels Pearl during kickoff. You can assume that your team is playing an agent composition of your choice for suggestions on how you would approach the match. Review our latest Haven match link to VOD, include any element you consider appropriate. So thought that was pretty cool, actually. And yeah, it's a pretty substantial form here that you can go through and do if you want to get involved in this potential prospect. And even Zels is in the reply saying, hey, what about get me involved? But difficult to find that much time on the table. Let's talk though Qubit. So they've got their roster, and they were playing at SAD Esports yesterday, and they took the win against SAD Esports in a relatively convincing 2-0 at the end of the series. Now, their team on paper, Qubit, is really, really good. And as much as I want to give Dapr credit as the coach of their team, this team should be bowling people over, to be honest, anyway. Like, the team is too talented. T-Dog, Knights, and then really the heavy hitters of the roster, Scuba, Nismo, and Redux. Right, bringing in Nismo was, I think, actually a really nice decision. And then Redux and Scuba, absolute no-brainer. These guys, in addition to Verno, were cooking big time with Dapr, to be fair, last year on Oxygen when they were getting coached by Bonkar. Bonkar's now gone to NRG with Verno. And Sentinels have effectively got the rest, right? Like Redux, Scuba, still alive. And then, of course, Dapr as now the coach of the roster, having an absolute masterclass. So SAD Esports map 1 pick on the Fracture. Qubit Academy won it 13-9. Redux and Scuba stopping the scoreboard. And then the Pearl was 13-6. This time Knights had a great map. Redux was still good on the Jet. And yeah, Nismo on the Tejo map 2 was pretty notable with an 11-1 starting half. So very impressive from Qubit so far. Like, at the end of the day, it is challenges. They've played 2 series. They've beat Ambrosia, and they've taken down, as we literally just saw, the boys on SAD Esports. So that now leaves TSM as the 3rd seed, behind Qubit as the 2nd seed with +16, and then M80 are number 1 for now. So yeah, look, it's early days. It's like a Swiss setup that they're running here. But as it stands, Qubit Academy looking pretty strong in the Americas challengers side. The teams at the bottom not looking so good are as follows, and these other games have now been determined as well. So over the next couple of days, from the 10th until the 12th, this will be the set of games. Qubit will actually play the rankers, right? So it's 2-0, the winner gets to 3-0, and you know, this is going to be, I think, a particularly big game. So very interesting stuff. I know there's been lots of talk about it, really, saying that, well, if you've got Redux, how can you possibly lose? Which I think might be fair enough. But equally, as Dapr says, Qubit Academy, they take down SAD Esports 2-0, another fantastic match of the Cubes. Only undefeated coach in the league is a lot of pressure, but we love the pressure. So yeah, what next, I guess, for this roster? What next for Dapr? I do think it's interesting to keep an eye on this team, though, because their roster is very good on paper, and how they do in challenges is another question. But if the main Sentinels roster doesn't deliver what they want to, they will have to think about it, because the whole point of having an academy program is, number one, I guess you give your team opportunities to scrim against these guys, practice new compositions without these ideas leaking out there to the public, especially if this team is good, but also you are nurturing future talent. Especially Redux and Scuba, I think, are, at least for the immediate term, players in mind. And Redux, let's not forget, is Sentinel's kind of like official substitute. He actually played for them at the show match a while ago. And so we also know that they were joking around about Zelsis, weren't they, at some point? Oh, well, if Zelsis doesn't perform, he's going to get dropped for Redux. I don't know about that so much. And with any luck for Sentinel's side, they'll qualify for Bangkok and do perfectly fine. But let's say they don't. Let's say Sentinels go down to G2 and then they lose out in the losers finals and they don't make it to Bangkok. You know, they might stick out the roster, but if Redux or somebody else continues to absolutely cook over there in challenges, there might be an argument that they could change the roles around and make something work on the starting Sentinels team. So tweet your thoughts in the comment section below. Dapr definitely deserves some credit as far as I'm concerned, but fundamentally, in my opinion anyway, it is about the players more so than anybody else. And just to close out, we thought this was pretty cool because Zelsis actually was noted here. Community vote for the best Astras in the game, and this one was actually for the best Breach, and Zelsis does get noted here as well by the community. So I thought this is actually pretty nice. Very much interested in your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Possibly some bias coming into play, but hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Which loss was worse, EDG or Heretics? Or Heretics? Sorry. I personally feel like the EDG one was worse because it felt like we just threw, and then I think it was one of those games where I was having a really good series, but we were just not able to like win. I mean, both series were pretty brutal because I think I played good in both series. I think I don't even remember that much. Hey, let me look. I played pretty solid. Yeah, I remember on Haven I was frying and I would like I got like a 1v3. I was shooting people based off of like Cypher ults through smokes. And I think I remember Lotus feeling like a throw on our part. Yeah. Yeah, we ended 6-6. We were up 5-1. And then I remember throwing this. And then Sunset we actually got ran over, but I don't know, it felt like we were just losing like gunfights on Sunset. Like straight up just devoured on Sunset. And then for Heretics as well. Okay, I won't lie, I did not want to lose this fucking game, but we ended up losing the series. Still unfortunate. There was actually what is it? I think it was this. Wait, they started winning. There was a round where actually I should have won us a round on Icebox. I don't remember what round it was. And we also threw on this map. And then the last map of them all.
I mean, this game was
Abyss.
always cooked.
Gotta love this map. But yeah, both series I'm doing pretty good though. Because I have a decent cast as well as like fragging and supporting.